Okay, welcome everyone on LinkedIn. Thank you for joining us again. We're just going to wait a minute while everyone hops on in and we kick off. So we'll just give it a few minutes and getting everyone online. Okay, I'm sure as everyone starts to filter in, we'll start to kick things off. But thank you everyone once again for jumping in on our second live Q&A now with EMC. As everyone is starting to filter in, I'll do a short introduction, but for those of you who joined us already, let us know where you are checking in from. I'm currently hosting over in London now in Battersea, so if you want to let us know where you're at, we'll see who's tuning in from around the world. Okay, on the chat. Right, there we go. Okay. Kai Durham, Leicester, Waterlooville, Hampshire, Brazil, nice. Lots of English coming in, joining Northampton, Falkland Islands, nice, Stephen. India, Canada, West Mids, Veronica. Anyone hiring? So already in with the questions, which is great to see. We will get around to this and there'll be some great networking opportunities for everyone as we go out. So please keep engaged on the chat. The networking opportunities we got from this last time were fantastic. So yeah, let's keep this nice and engaged. So now that we're all starting to filter in a little bit more, we'll kick things off. Okay, so once again, thank you everyone for joining us for our second LinkedIn Live on Ex-Military Careers with me. What I would love this to be is as interactive as possible for everyone to join in and make the most out of. So if you look on here now, you'll see that we've got a QR code on our Slido, which means you can ask anything anonymously as well. So please feel free to ask away, whether it's in the Zoom chat, the LinkedIn Live chat, any of our other platforms, or ask anonymously away on our Slido. There is no topic today that we've come into mind that we've brought to this session, but what I do want to kind of raise a little bit of awareness to is yesterday's Mind charity initiative, which is raising awareness to talk about mental health. So whether you're here for your military and professional conversation or whether you just want to check in personally, please feel free just to ask any questions, do your own check-in, manage your own well-being. So New Zealand as well, Netherlands, North Carolina, good. So the US awake. It's our afternoon over here, but good morning to everyone over in America. Brilliant. So if you want to start sending any questions in that you might have, and I'll go into a quick introduction to who I am and Ex-Military Careers as well. So I'm Ellis Greenway, I'm an ex-Royal Marine, and I'm the Global Community Manager for Ex-Military Careers. Now, what we do with Ex-Military Careers, it's very twofold in that we provide support to the whole of the ex-military community. So whether you are a service leaver, whether you're a veteran, military spouse, anyone, just a supporter, you know, if you're part of our ex-military community, there's some way in which we will aim to provide support to you, whether it's mentoring, transition tips, opportunities. That's what we're here to do. Or if you are a business or an organization, a hiring manager who wants to improve your initiatives surrounding veterans and bringing more veterans into your business, then we can help with that as well. So yeah, any questions surrounding that on either side, please feel free just to jump in with questions. So first of all, how's my week been? The week's been good. Thank you for asking whoever that was anonymously. The week has been good. It's been productive. It's been busy as usual. We've got some really exciting things going on with partnerships coming up. So can't wait to get stuck into some of them. Aside from that, it's just been cold in London. As everyone else probably knows, we took a bit of a dip over the last few weeks. So getting used to that. But no, everyone else, how's it? 2 o'clock over there. Nice. But in the Highlands of Scotland. I probably shouldn't be talking about how cold it is over here. If you're in the Highlands of Scotland, Robin, you'll probably be suntanning over here. You mentioned last time about how networking has helped you, but what are your methods of networking? That is a really good question. So networking is something that if you speak to any successfully transitioned veterans is probably one of their biggest tips because of how powerful it is. But sometimes what we don't get is the tangible takeaways on how to actually network. So if you're watching this on LinkedIn, you're already on the best platform you could possibly be for it. So if you're a service leaver who's looking at getting into new opportunities on Civilian Street, I would look at, first of all, joining some military groups. There's some fantastic military groups out there. One that I personally love, and the guys are doing some great work, is the GenDit network. You can jump into that platform and start connecting, be very vocal in the group, and identify some people in the markets that you're interested in them. Send some connect requests, send some messages. You'll be shocked at how friendly and how willing to help veterans generally are within the space. So get into some groups, identify some people in your sectors that you're interested in, and just start asking questions, start asking for time. I would be mindful that what you also want to do is try and provide some of value, and don't go out there expecting that everyone's just going to give you everything. You've got to be proactive with it, and obviously be thankful and be appreciative of anyone who gives you the time. But there's also some great events going on. GenDit Network had one in London. It was fantastic. We've got another one coming up in Bristol. So stay on top of the military events that are happening around the world. And another method then that I would pick is probably more for people who aren't actually fully sure about what role they would like to take yet, which is very common. A lot of the time we don't have the exposure to the massive amount of really good roles that are out there in the world. Something that I experienced a lot from a background in the Royal Marines was that, you don't have to go and do something in close protection or PT. Absolutely great. I know some fantastic people, one who will be coming on podcast soon, who are doing their own personal training setups and self-employed now with that entrepreneurial kind of side. But there's loads of roles out there. So find a mentor is what I would recommend, and I would split this between a civilian mentor, a veteran mentor, and to really get the best of both worlds in what you should be looking for, and start getting an idea of what's really out there. The Ex-Military Careers jobs board has got tons of roles in tons of different sectors. Start exploring them, and I would probably look at where's the world going as well. Where's the world going, and what is your why? So a good friend of mine, Chris Reeves, often talks about what's your why. Why are you actually leaving? If you want to find a role where having more time with your family is really important, then consider roles where you can do that hybrid or remotely, for example. So find out what your why is and match something along with that. So when you know what roles kind of typically work well, hybrid or remote, then you can start looking in those sectors, for example. So find your why, where you want to be, and then reverse engineer that pathway. That is probably my best recommendation, and then network off the back of what you're finding with that. Kez Shelley would be interested in touching base with yourself for offering future employment. Yep, exactly what we do. Kez, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Let's connect, and we'll set up some time to chat in the near future, and we'll have a conversation around that. Robert, amazing number of people here. Yeah, 92 people watching just on LinkedIn. Looking for a senior role in operations and delivery excellence. So there we go, a fantastic veteran already there, ready to get stuck into new roles. Thanks for jumping in there, Robert. Training and certification to improve the CV. Okay, so the one person I always recommend, a good connection of mine who I tagged last time, is Mick. Mick is an absolute CV guru. On completion of this, I'll send over some tags of some people in the space who everyone can go to. Portugal, Sri Lanka, so many international attendees. Absolutely. Richard, God, thanks for the kind words. Birmingham, brilliant. Also, you'll see in the chat, anyone who's watching, that we've got Aisha. Aisha is my one of my absolute go-tos, my right-hand man who supports everything. So a little shout out to Aisha. I probably don't know what I'd do without her. Okay, so some more questions in here. How do you decide where you want to go from the army? I don't know where to start. Yeah, very common question. One that I guess I briefly just touched upon then. it's hard. The amount of exposure when you're internal looking externally is almost you're spoilt for choice. So I would break it down by, if you decided to leave, there's got to be a reason for it, right? Find out what that reason is and what do you ultimately want, and then create a Venn diagram. I think there's like a Japanese proverb for this, which is called ikigai. So effectively, you want to create a Venn diagram, right? And this is a mix between what you're good at, what you enjoy, what you can offer, and what you can be paid for. And somewhere in the middle is a mix of all of those things where you can go out there and find a role that you are going to be compatible with, you're going to work well in it, you're going to enjoy it, and you can be paid for it. So start to put together a bit of a Venn diagram that matches with your why. If you've got any more specific questions, or if you've got ideas about markets, please feel free to ask those questions as well. What did you learn about yourself from your service? That's a good question. I always say that we do these LinkedIn lives, and I always say that's a good question to every question. I think just as from joining at a young age, you don't actually really know yourself to a certain extent. You're still in a very impressionable mindset. Everything you do is a learned experience. I definitely learned that what I thought I was capable of was nowhere near what I was actually capable of, how strong your mind really is. I think that's probably a testament to anyone who's gone through some form of military basic training that gets pretty rough at times, the sleep deprivation, etc. If someone had told you before going into your basic training some of the things that you would be doing, you probably would have thought there's no way in hell I'm doing that. But then when you're in the moment, there's no other opportunity or option but to crack on. So yeah, I'd say that was my biggest thing, learning what I was really capable of if I put my mind to it. And that's what gives me personally a level of confidence, which I think has definitely been fundamental for my success in the civilian working world. It's strange to have this double-edged sword of confidence and almost this idea of imposter syndrome that I shouldn't be here, this is a completely different world. So as I discussed quite a lot, everything that we have in life is a double-edged sword, and it's about finding the balance between that. So be confident, but also take the time to understand the new world that you're going to be in and have that beginner's mindset as well. So speaking of the time to talk day, how do you take care of your mental health? Very, very, very important topic. It's coming more into light at the minute. Always has been, always will be an important topic, but great to see that it's something that's been taken a little bit more seriously, and there's been a lot of emphasis put in towards mental health. Me personally, there's a few things that I have in my daily routine that I like to stay on top of in order to maintain my mental health. I like going to the gym. I like staying physically active. I like being outside and getting some sunlight in my eyes, having a set routine. And that's not this micromanaged idea of what some civilians think a military routine is, where you have to be command-handed and told what to do all the time. I just like to have things set in place where I know that if I stay on top of, I can perform my best throughout the day. And if I'm in a good place mentally, then I can give more to my work, I can give more to my personal relationships, I can give more to everything else in my external life. So that would be what I recommend. So do and prioritize the things that make you feel good, whatever it is. Is it spending some time gaming? Is it going to the gym? Is it going out and eating nice food? Is it learning, reading? Everything is in balance. If you're the person that likes jumping on the games console with your friends, I know it was a big thing in COVID. I still do it now, but find a balance. That doesn't mean spending hours on it all through the night. Just take a bit of time to socialize. Find the time to do the things that you enjoy and what make you feel good. How did I get into my current career and what steps did I take? Like anyone else, I've probably just stumbled across where I am now. It's a very common thing to hear from military service leavers. I was looking when I first left at my reason for leaving, which was partly due. It was a full choice of my own, but was pushed with an element of a medical issue for why I couldn't take the direction that I wanted to continue going in. So knowing that ultimately leaving was a very real option for me, what did I want on the outside? I wanted freedom. I wanted the opportunity to do the things I enjoy, and for that I needed time, and you need a set and robust financial plan as well. So effectively I wanted to make money and have the time to spend the money doing the things that I enjoy. being in the Marines and the spec or however, the branch that I was in, I don't have many transferable skills to take to civilian street. So that was something that I was very aware of. There are going to be other people in this who have got specific trades that are directly transferable. So for me, I didn't have that. And I wanted to look where, if I work hard, where can I get the rewards for doing so, financially, where it wasn't going to be based on seniority, but a meritocracy. So I knew that I was capable of coming in and working hard. So I had a friend in recruitment who mentioned, you should have a go at this, think about it. And it was a snowballing idea. I got into recruitment as my first role when I left the military from Cornwall, moved up to Leeds, right back up in the north where I'm from originally, and got into the world of recruitment, doing executive search. And then that opened the door for me to bring my Venn diagram together of this role of what I enjoyed and I'm passionate about, helping people, my background in recruitment and helping companies with their hiring strategies, and my time in the military. And I created my Venn diagram of what I enjoy, what I'm good at, and what I can be paid to do. So that's ultimately what brought me to my role now as the manager over at Ex-Military Careers. Okay, let me jump in the chat now. Have you found any books that have helped in your transition? Johnny, interesting one. Do you think, or are you asking about military specific books or books that I would recommend overall more holistically? One that I touched upon recently in a video was actually it's called The 48 Laws of Power. It's a fascinating book. It's quite a dangerous book almost in a sense as well. I believe it had to get removed from some prison environments because prisoners were using it and learn how to manipulate guards, etc. But it goes into all the different dynamics of power and how you can use them to your advantage. So I'm not saying go out there and start learning. Oh, Mick, great to see you jump in. Thanks, Mick. I'll get some people pointed your way. But yeah, back to 48 Laws of Power. I'm not going out there saying anyone should use it to learn how to manipulate people. But when you go through your civilian transition, you're going to be in so many different interactions with different types of people, coming from one environment where everyone is relatively similar on a common goal into a very diverse, for better or for worse, interactions where you're going to be with new people with new mindsets. So learning how they operate, how they think, and then how best to tailor your approach to get what you need to get. And that was from the 48 Laws of Power. So a huge book that I would recommend. Richard, respectfully disagree. In my opinion, all veterans have multiple chances. Yes, absolutely. I meant in terms of hard skills. So by trade, I wasn't an engineer, etc. But I think the soft skills that veterans get, I shout about them. I'm probably one of the most biased advocates of veteran soft skills and ability that you'll find out there. So sorry if anyone did take that in the wrong way. It's not what I meant. I meant by a specific trade or hard skill. Non-military books, really. Yeah, so 48 Laws of Power, Johnny, I would 100% get on that. It's absolutely fascinating. Okay, been out since Feb 2020 and been struggling to get a job. Sent my CV out to numerous job advertisements to get nowhere. Any advice? And is losing faith. Yeah, not a problem. If you want to reach out to me personally, we'll find some time in the diary. We'll grab a coffee and we'll have a chat and see how I can help a little bit more personally. But your CV, ultimately, that's you. It's your opportunity to let yourself shine. So probably a good opportunity for us to go through that. And maybe there's some rewording that we need to do, go over some of the grammar. A lot of the time it's rephrasing the military experience into the civilian experience. You've got to put yourself in the shoes of hiring managers who may have never even met a veteran before. They're not going to understand some of the language and some of the phraseology that you're using. So instead of being a section commander, were you a team leader? You were a people manager? Were you a project manager? If you were managing logistical aspects as well, think about it along those lines. How can you really appeal in their language? But absolutely, connect with me on LinkedIn, drop me a quick message, and we'll have a little bit of a further chat, and we'll dig into that one a little bit more personally. So I've just been forced to leave midway through flying training after 6 years in the military. I only have A-levels to my name and no idea where to start. It sounds like that wasn't your choice, so I'm sorry to hear that. I was exactly the same. I did my A-levels and that is all that I left with. So get networking, get stuck in some of these groups like the Gen Dit Network, be very vocal, get active, and then start to look for roles, which is exactly what I did, where I didn't necessarily need a degree to start, and they were more of a, my social skills, my people skills, if that's a benefit, or if you've got a passion, go and learn something. People are completely redesigning their careers way into 40s, 50s, 60s, and doing new things all the time. So I was very conscious when I left. I felt that if I was in my mid-20s, am I going to be on the back foot? Am I going to be struggling? Absolutely not the case. It was a misconception on my part. So absolutely, you've still got plenty of time to go in and learn something new. Make the most of any learning credits if you've been in 6 years as well. That was something that I let myself down with. So if you want to have a bit more of an in-depth chat, again, send me a connect request and we will get chatting, and I'll see if I can help you a little bit more specifically in terms of location and actual qualifications. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is great. Johnny, thanks for that. I will definitely check that out. Okay, Robin, my remoteness is really difficult for me and finding a new role. Robin, where exactly are you and what kind of roles are you currently looking at? So perhaps we could look for a way we can find some different roles which will give you the opportunity to work remotely and look at hybrid opportunities. Afternoon from Madrid. Good afternoon, Antonio. What should we look for in a mentor and the outcome? Good question, Robert. I really like that one, actually. I think importantly, it's got to be someone that ultimately you respect and you admire to a certain degree. Why would you get a mentor if they're doing something that you're not interested in or you don't particularly respect? Find someone who is exactly in our military training. You join basic training, you get trained by a corporal who's already got their badge, already got the cap badge. So, and that's why you look up to them effectively. Mimic the same. Find someone who has done what you are aiming to do, aiming what you're trying to achieve, and who you get along with. Another really important part of your mentor is not finding someone who's just going to be a nodding dog, and give you that clap and the round of applause and the well dones. Find someone who's going to challenge you productively and give you, the push that you need. I'm going to get this phrase completely wrong now, but a phrase from my friend, which is, don't seek applause that makes you stand still, seek advice that keeps you stepping forward. Chris, if I've butchered that, I'm really sorry, mate, but the point is there. Find people in your immediate network who will push you to keep getting better, not just be the nodding dog saying, well done, that's great, you're hoofing. It's nice to get a little bit of ego boost, a little bit of a dopamine kick from that. But balance that with people who are really going to help you and support you. My other one on the mentor, again, just to reiterate, I would try and find multiple mentors, one who's maybe specifically in the sector that you're looking to adopt, and then one who's maybe outside of it, sat externally, like someone who's just a veteran who's already successfully transitioned, who can give you a bit of an overall holistic issue. So someone who can help with your overall transition and on the bigger picture, and then someone specifically within market. Kez, thanks for the kind words. I will connect with you and we'll definitely have a chat. Open opportunities and how to get a new, I think that's career, from Kamal. Yeah, our Ex-Military Careers website has got a jobs board on it, Kamal. Feel free to look through any of those roles there, and let me know, if any of them are standing out, if any of them don't work, if you're struggling with anything, feel free to ping me a message and I might be able to help out a little bit more. Just reading Richard's message now. Really interesting. That might be really helpful for some other people in here. So Richard's put a link in there for his testimonial. That looks really, really good. How do I identify a support system for during your transition? I would say look at your immediate circles, out of your friends, your family, colleagues, and then again have that what word am I trying to say? The mix of people. Have a good mix of people in different fields with different perspectives, because there's always more than one way to skin a cat. I wouldn't just bring a support system who are all, don't have a system that's just family or that's just friends or just colleagues. Find everyone from different elements of your life that are important to you, and formulate a support system around that, so you can pick and you can weigh in and get advice from all these people in different important areas of your life, and then you will be able to deliberate and think logically about the feedback and the information that you're getting to hopefully come up with some sort of process that's going to match along and support you best of all in all aspects of your life. What were your first few months out of the service like? Tough. I think that they're tough, and I still struggle with things now. Absolutely. I don't know anyone who doesn't still struggle with some elements of it. Ultimately, you are completely changing your identity. It's not just a job. It's not a 9 to 5. It is a 24/7. It was the best thing I ever did. I love that I did it. I love the people that I met. I love the things that I did. And to go from having all that and it being my own choice to leave is one that you will find. I found myself questioning at times, did I do the right thing? Should I have stayed? So I think I was battling almost like an internal discussion about if this was right, but also when you get into that first role and it's your first civilian role and realizing how different it is, and you're going to have those seeds of doubt where you're really questioning, is this for me at all? Like civilian world, this role. And then there's the stress of your financial world. And then when one of these areas in your life starts coming down, it starts to affect all of your others. So your financial health is really important to your overall health. So it's tough, and I was definitely struggled with that and keeping all areas of my life balanced, which is now why I have my daily checklist almost of things that I like to have accomplished, so that I know that when I stack these days on top of each other, that I'm going to have some sort of positive outcome at the end of it. But they are tough, but they're also really exciting. You're going to meet so many great people from walks of life that you've never met before. Embrace that. I was fortunate enough to meet some fantastic people, so clever professionally and personally, who give me so much guidance along the way. So just be very open-minded and adopt that beginner's mindset and make the most of everyone that you can be with. Seek to add value to everyone else and be a positive light on everyone else. Represent veterans well, because it's veterans who've done really successfully, who are paving the way for us, and we're going to pave the way for the next generations of service leavers who are going to be coming through. So paint us in a positive light and be that reason why companies want to go out and hire more veterans. Okay, I'm just going to have a look in the chat. How can we find your link to connect? David, I'm Ellis Greenway on LinkedIn. I will be on the Ex-Military Careers site at some point. So if you click on Ex-Military Careers and find me on there, then just hit me a connect request. Huge hurdle in terms of networking and meeting people also. Unfortunately, London industries are all closed over weekends, so I've had to save up all my leave and resettlement entitlement and give myself a solid 3-month window to do so. Harrison, interesting. I'm also in London. More than happy to meet at some point and weigh in with some advice. There's quite a lot of networking that goes on in London. So drop me a message. I see that was a response to Robin, but if I can weigh in there and offer some advice, then I absolutely will do so. Yeah, so Richard as well, saying that you like, respect and trust each other. Absolutely wise words from Richard then again. Ronaldo, in the Marine Corps, my job there doesn't really translate over to the civilian side. Absolutely, I was the same. Struggling to find a career where I can feel accomplished. Any tips? Absolutely no problem. Yeah, we touched on this really quickly, Ronaldo. But ultimately, find your Venn diagram. Find out what things you enjoy in your personal life, and what you can get paid to do, and what you enjoy. Create that middle Venn diagram and go and pursue that. If you need to go into further education, consider that absolutely. But there is definitely a role out there for you. There are loads of companies out there which you've probably never heard of, and roles that you've never heard of that really want veterans and really, really suit veterans. I had no idea to the amount of roles that were out there and employees were looking for veterans to fill until I'm in this kind of role now. So if you want to connect and you want to speak about that, hit me a little connect request and I will advise on some of our US clients who would be more than happy to have a conversation. Okay. Sorry if I've missed any of these in the chat as well. I'm trying to keep up with it as much as I can. And got another question here. So how long before you leave the military would you recommend planning the transition period? I've heard 2 years from some and a few months from others. Okay, so this is going to be slightly controversial and one that a lot of people may or may not agree with. But looking back, you should start planning to leave the day that you join. I know that sounds very, very unrealistic because, especially as when I reflect on my own time, I was a young lad. It was all I ever wanted to do. I was probably very naive to think that I was going to stay in this and it was going to be amazing and everything I ever dreamed of. So you're not even considering that there's a world after this. But for medical reasons and mental reasons and personal reasons, financial reasons, family. There could be so many reasons that you don't even have on your radar yet that are going to force you to leave or encourage you to leave. So I would start to be aware of that as soon as physically possible. It's never too early to start. Even if you're in now and you're not considering leaving, what I would recommend everyone to do is start getting active on LinkedIn, build your personal brand, showcase yourself well, fill out your profile properly, start getting recommendations on there. And that's something that will stay with you forever. And by the time it comes to your point of leaving, you will be so thankful that you took the time to do that. So there is no time that's too early to start planning your transitional period. Yes, there is too early to start planning for a job. If you ask someone 2 years down the line and the likelihood of that being held is unlikely. However, my role was held for me after I got delayed for almost a year. I've heard of other service leavers whose roles were held open for them for a year. So don't leave it until those last couple of months until and then that will come around way too quickly. And something for me, what I really enjoyed actually was I found my role and I was very happy with going into it and I was content with what I was going to do. And then I managed to use my downtime towards my resettlement and my termination to actually just take the foot off the gas. Your first 90 days in your new role in your new company are absolutely fundamental to your whole reputation, your professional career within that company and even outside of that company. You want to come into that fresh, and you want to come into that feeling positive. So take the foot off the gas for a little bit. Spend some time with your family, with your friends, traveling, doing whatever you need to do. Just enjoy, take a step back. And then what you want to do is get into that civilian role, that new role with absolutely, hitting the ground running with that kind of new buzz and the excitement, being the beginner, being the new person, but with so much to prove and so much to achieve as a veteran. You might be the first veteran that a lot of people have come across, and that was similar for me. So, and I wanted to be that person where people, started to understand what we did, what we can offer in the workplace. So, I just take that little bit of time off and go into your new role with the ground running. Samantha, great session. Thank you so much for the kind words, Samantha. Exactly, end up leaving after 18 years due to mental health. Robin, sorry to hear that. Please feel free to reach out to me. I've got a massive network. Always a safe space for any of us to talk about this kind of thing. But yeah, it's a huge battle right now. It's tough. There's no other way, and this should be something that we can all speak collectively about, and something that I absolutely encourage. Robin, so if you ever do want to have a chat about it, my inbox is always open. Let's grab a coffee and have a chat. Aisha, working hard in the back end. Thank you, Aisha. Security cleared sector, regular job fairs, absolutely. There's always areas in defence and space, which are a great transition immediately for veterans to get stuck into. All sorted now. Robin, great to hear. Love that. Yeah, and would absolutely be keen to kind of hear your story. And I'm sure you're going to have some really valuable insight for other people who might be going through it now. So yeah, let's connect and have a chat about that. That'd be really good. Okay, so we were only scheduled in for half an hour. I'm sorry if anyone's only recently joined, but great getting to spend some time with everyone online again. Hope everyone enjoyed it. We have got a type form that you can come and jump into and leave some feedback. If there's anything that you want to hear in future sessions, please feel free to register that in there, and anything that you were thinking about, any feedback, always welcome. And this is going to be a regular thing. I'm hoping to be doing these half-an-hour sessions weekly. So we'll see you all soon. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in again. Once again, if anyone needs any support from Ex-Military Careers, please feel free to reach out. But I'm sure we'll see you all soon. So bye.